They planned it well. Yeah. They planned it well. Let me see if I can put this over here so that way.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll get both of us. Let me just take a look at the back of it, make sure it's working.
You're a computer expert.
I am. Maybe move this out of the way. Maybe it's a little high. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully it'll get you. I can't see exactly what it's doing, but yeah, looks like it is. Guess we'll find out.
You know, my father's brothers were Meyer, Charlie, Abe, Eddie, and Joe.
Yep. So my dad was.
Joe was the youngest.
So yeah. So
Abe came next to my father.
So Abe was my grandfather.
I know.
They
were in business together. Charlie, Abe, Eddie, and Joe.
What business?
You didn't know?
Is it charcoal?
Zemel is real estate.
Real
You
estate.
didn't know that?
I knew they were in the real estate business.
Oh. We were synonymous with real estate. Everybody knew in Newark, New Jersey, Zemel.
Yep.
Oh.
So I have to ask you something. I don't know if you can see this. You have magnifying glass there? It looks like?
I do have a magnifying glass.
So,
I funny thing, my eyes and I, but I see very small words.
So down here where it says new corporations.
Oh boy.
So take a look. There's one over here that's Zemel. Charcoal business.
Certificate of incorporation have been granted by the following companies. Look, I have a Super Reader Company, Jersey City. I never heard of that.
Below that.
Simon Hoffman.
There's another one below that.
Union Charcoal Manufacturer Company.
That's it.
Newark Capital, so forth. Corporate. Nathan Zemel, Meyer Zemel, Charles Zemel. See, Meyer and Charles were the older ones.
Mm-hmm.
And Meyer left, and my father, my grandmother, gave him I might say, a mandate to take care of his brothers. Because Meyer was a genius.
Mm-hmm.
He'd read a dictionary, memorize the whole dictionary, or
Wow.
the Bible, and he was outspoken. I remember he used to go to the chambers. We had the commissioner form of government in Newark.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to go every week to the chambers where the commissioners, 5 commissioners, safety, finance, different things. And he was outspoken.
Wow.
And his name used to appear in the newspaper all the time.
Mm.
Very often.
Wow.
When he was shot, he was killed. And when the Newark Evening News was like the New York Times of New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Very fine paper.
Yep.
The headline was "Eccentric Millionaire Was Shot." He was eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
He would get up wherever he was, a wedding or anything, 9 o'clock, he'd leave to go to sleep, and he'd get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. He was different. His father-in-law was a great rabbi.
Mm. Who was that?
Cohen.
Okay.
And his wife was a daughter of a rabbi. And she sort of held herself aloof because she was a rabbi's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get along with the mother-in-law too well.
Mm.
And Meyer separated from them. And my grandmother told my father, who was next in line, to watch the other brothers. And he took that very seriously.
Mm.
That was his life work.
So do you know anything about the charcoal business?
Yeah, the charcoal business, when my grandfather came here, they said he somehow he was in the sewers or something. I don't know. I heard that story. It doesn't sound funny. But he went to New York first,
mm-hmm.
and he came to Jersey, and apparently he was the first Zemel to come to America
mm-hmm.
in the 1800s.
Yep.
And he had a grocery store business. And then they went into I don't know if the milk, they had a dairy.
Okay.
My father was a great milker.
Mhm.
They called him in Polish Malazec. He was an expert milker. He could milk 12 cows. They milked by hand.
Yep.
And somebody set the barn on fire and killed all the cows.
Wow.
And my grandfather said, my grandmother was, you can imagine how she felt.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather says, Asheda Reda Kippur, you don't know what that means.
No.
It's a sacrifice. It's we'll go on. We'll go on and we'll make it again. And then they got into the charcoal business. They became very big. Charcoal was used for cooking, briquettes. They were baggers.
Okay.
They would bag charcoal and sell to the corner grocery stores. Matter of fact, my father delivered charcoal to the Waldorf Astoria in New York. And when he was 100 years old, he wanted a birthday party. Never a birthday party in his life. He didn't believe in that. But he had a birthday party like you've never seen a birthday party in the Waldorf Astoria. And all the family came.
Wow.
Your grandfather had passed on, and he was the last remaining sibling of the family. He was 100. He lived to 104.
Yep.
So it was a tremendous affair.
Yep.
But he said that he delivered charcoal to the Waldorf Astoria. He wanted to have his 100th birthday in the Waldorf Astoria. And that was the finest hotel in New York, Waldorf Astoria. Mm-hmm. So they went into the charcoal business, and they became the biggest independent charcoal dealers. They had an office in Elizabeth too. Not only in Newark, they had an Elizabeth, and but they were independent. But there was the monopolies, the combines, and they were trying to push out the smaller fellas. So somehow my father pulled off a deal. He sold the charcoal business to the monopoly, and he undersold them, underpriced them. And he kind of knocked them for a fool, and they sold it back to him. So my grandfather gave him a diamond stud, which he gave to me. Unfortunately, my house was robbed. I spent a lot of time here, and the house is empty, and they cleaned the house out.
Oh, wow. And
a lot of them, mementos from my parents, my wife's parents. It was all taken. As a matter of fact, my ordination, the original one, was taken. It was a beautiful ordination. It was in parchment. It was beautiful. But I have, I made a plaque of it, I don't know what they call that, the name for it. You can make a plaque, well, anyhow, I have a copy of it.
And your other house is in New Jersey?
Yeah, we were Newark people.
Yeah.
We were Newark real estate. We didn't have any real estate anywhere else. We were Newark. Eventually we went to East Orange and Orange. And Jersey City became pretty big in Jersey City during the wartime. So that's that story.
So about 5 years ago, I was over in Israel, over at your father's grave, and I took a picture.
Someone sent it to me.
And I gave it to Brian Spry, and he gave it to you over.
I have that. Yeah. What they say about him, the greatest rabbi, don't say he was. The epitaph is. He was well liked. He was a great man. Of course, my father.
Yeah. Well, when I was at the cemetery, the person who manages the cemetery knew exactly who he was, because they remember when he was buried.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, that's that story. Now, what else do you want to know?
So a few other things.
So that was the charcoal business.
Yep.
Now, this is a story my father told me. A lot of people may not know this story, but this is how they got into the real estate business. According to him, of course, this is what hearsay, what he said.
Yep.
Somebody else is going to say, I did it.
Yeah.
Your grandfather would say, he did it. And everybody else. But there was a very wealthy man, and, you know, down Neck, Newark, Ironbound. Are you familiar with Ironbound?
No.
Well, there's a Penn Station, and above the Penn Station was above, that separated the city. We originally were from the Ironbound section. That's where we had our farm.
Okay.
My grandmother was an expert. She wasn't educated, but she was a genius. She knew everything by heart. Everything. And she raised chickens and goats and with her husband and the cows and so forth. And she could make anything. She'd make preserves, pickles and jelly. And she was a very capable woman, you know, domestically. She couldn't read or write, but she was bright. You know, naturally bright. Naturally bright. So anyhow, my father somehow got acquainted with these people, and their boy was not too smart. My father was very bright, and my brother taught him how to read, you know. So they that man who was so wealthy lent them money, and they built one of the finest. Those days it was a tenement house called 555 Ferry Street. It's a famous building. I don't know if you heard of it. Vincent Street, 8 Vincent Street. I know all the property, you know.
Vincent Street. I've heard.
8 Vincent Street. It was a corner, 8 Vincent Street. And the farm was on Vincent Street. They owned a row of houses on both sides. And my grandfather had a synagogue in his house, 82 Vincent Street.
Now that was.
And your father lived upstairs. Your grandfather lived upstairs.
Now that also became Horace's house, right?
What?
Horace, didn't he live there also?
Well, he was born in 555.
Okay.
My older siblings were born there. I was the first one that was born on High Street. High Street was. And my grandmother. They bought my grandmother, the boys and the brothers and sisters, the 9 of them. I didn't know too much about the other one. You know, it was from another mother.
Who's that?
Harry.
Oh, Harry. Okay. He's the one who went to Canada. Yeah.
Montreal. But she was a queen. They respected her.
So that's Margaret?
Oh, so they bought her a house, which was a mansion. Too bad they tore that house down. Gorgeous house, a brick. To build it today, I don't know how much it would cost. Tile, big vestibule. You know, you find in the beautiful mansions, stairs going up.
Wow.
You know how you see in a mansion. And they had a beautiful, on the side, leaded glass. Beautiful leaded glass, and the sun came in. It was gorgeous, and the library was round. Built an ark, you know. It was a beautiful, beautiful mansion, and a lot of the family lived there. My Aunt Bella, the oldest, and Frida. There were a lot of them. It was a big home. It was 17 rooms, and I don't know how many bedrooms and baths, you know, so forth and so on. And Uncle Joe and Pearlie, Pearlie lost her husband, and Joe was single.
Yep.
He married late, 39. Those years, that was old man already, you know. But he got married. And an interesting story. My grandmother, she was sharp. She said if he didn't get married, he was single. She married after her demise. If he didn't get married by 40, he wouldn't be part of the Yerusha, the inheritance.
Wow.
He married at 39 to Sylvia. Sylvia and Joe and Eddie and
Nussy.
Lucy, that's his son. But he was maybe 18 years difference between my father and him.
Yep.
He was born in 1900. He passed away in 1958. He was only 58 years old, had a stroke all of a sudden. He had a very high blood pressure. He passed away, unfortunately. But he was the only educated one. He went to college.
Bro, you're the only one? Wow.
What?
I didn't realize he was the only one.
Well, the others worked. They had to work.
Okay.
Matter of fact, even in Jewish, he was more educated than the others.
Was he a rabbi?
My grandfather said, as long as they know how to daven, you know what daven is.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to, that was important to him, and that was very important to him. So he didn't educate him that much.
Wow. Let me bring this over here so it's easier to videotape if it's closer.
So I wrote some notes here. So that the charcoal business, then he went into, but they were not only the charcoal, they owned the biggest building in Newark, believe it or not, 6 stories. This is going back 1900, you know, that was the biggest building on Market Street. It just was above the station. It's hard to visualize. It was like a different world. We owned a lot of property in Newark. And the family was very close-knit. Like, we worked together. Sylvan and I, brothers could be closer. We worked, for 50 years we worked together. I mean, we were really very close. And he put on tefillin every day. He had tefillin in his office. And the Zemels were strict on tefillin and kashrus. They didn't eat treif. And intermarriage. It was verboten.
Yep.
But this is an important thing that my father, my grandfather was very strict about doing. And they all
So I had some other things for you. And I'll leave this with you. This over here is the 1940 census. You'll need the magnifying glass again, but look over here.
This is yours.
No, this was going to be yours. You can have it.
What do you want to say?
So this over here.
Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, and look at the names.
Lena was wife. No, Zelma was the oldest.
Well, this over here is what they had in the census. This is what Uncle Charlie told
you
us.
Miss Zelma.
Well, was she still living in the house in 1940?
No.
Yeah, this is the census. So
she got married when she was 20. She got married. She'd be 101. She was the oldest.
Wow. So this over here is a census. So this is just who was in the house in 1940.
1940, but she was out.
Yep. So I have that.
As a matter of fact, Hannah was out. Is that Hannah here? You got Hannah. Blanche, Hannah, Frida, Nathan, Samuel, Mildred. But you missed Zelma.
So if you look at this one, this is the 1930 census. Look at the bottom here.
Charles, Lena, Zelma. Oh, you got it.
Yeah. So this is a 1930, and that was 1940.
Yeah. So Zelma was the oldest.
Yeah. So those are the two censuses that they wrote. I
want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
You asked me a question. I'm going to ask you a question. What made you? What urged you to make a genealogy?
Okay, so back 25 years ago, 20 years ago, my mother's mother was not doing too well medically. And so I asked her, she brought people's names up and she said, this is a cousin of yours. And she would never tell me how they were related. So finally, one day I went to her and I said, okay, I'm going to take a napkin, I'm going to spread it out, and tell me how these people are related. And we made a tree on a napkin. So we said, here's you, Grandma. And then we went through and figured out who all the other cousins were.
You're talking about your...
my mother's mother, not related to the Zemels. So I started it there. And then after I finished that part of the family, then I told my dad, I'm going to do yours also. So I did the Gruber side, the Zemel side, and then also Abe's wife, Rena, also her side.
I know some of them. I
So-
knew some of them. I know her sister and her brother-in-law.
Mhm.
Was Kaufman, Sam Kaufman.
So
also very.
Dottie.
My dad was her sister.
Yeah. So all of those. That's how I started it. So I have another question for you. So this over here is from a long time ago, and it says Nathan Zemel at 390 Ferry Street, and then Meyer at.
Oh, Nathan Zemel, that's the grandfather.
Yeah.
That's the original. 390 Ferry Street. I'm not familiar with that.
Then Meyer's right above that.
Meyer, 336 Washington Street. That's out of my range.
Okay.
It's out of my range. But Ferry Street is familiar. They had a farm there. There's a manufactured place is down there too. Manufactured place and Ferry Street. I think the farm was actually a manufactured place.
Okay.
That's way down neck, they call it. Higher
Okay.
bound.
So yeah, I found.
Now I'll give you some information.
Okay. You can have this also.
I knew my father's cousins. I knew his uncles and his aunts.
So your father's cousins. Which ones were those?
We'll start with the cousins.
Yep.
And these are for Zemel. These are Zemel.
Yep.
There was, I think his name was Elia Bitterman.
Okay. Yep.
You got that name?
Yeah. Hold on a
I
second.
must have got it from me or something.
I actually met one of the bitter men.
He was a funny guy. I was only a little kid. He was full of happiness. He had a big mustache.
I'll find him, yeah. Hold on. Someplace in here. Which other ones?
Let me go on with you.
Okay.
So, then there was Azriel. Probably the name Israel. Azriel, who was a redhead, little guy.
What was the last name?
Zemel.
Zemel?
He was sort of a Hebrew teacher.
Let me see. So how was he related? Do you know?
My father's cousin.
Okay. Let me just see if I
Then
can...
there was a fellow, a nice kind of a man. I only saw him once. Shaul Zemel
Yeah.
from Brooklyn.
So...
You got that one too?
Saul Zemel... he was Chuna Zemel's son.
Who?
He was married to Rose. So Saul and Rose. So he came.
Oh, you got Shaul?
Yeah, Shaul Saul. And
But
so
then there was one, Beryl.
yeah,
Beryl was the most learned. Matter of fact, he was Joe's teacher in Hebrew stuff. But apparently he knew it was in secular subject because my father said he pronounced it algebra, which algebra.
algebra.
So he knew the demo. Then there was my father's uncles. This was Gruber.
Okay.
I didn't know any of my grandfather's siblings. I didn't know any of them. Apparently they didn't come to America.
No. Just him.
Because when he left, I thought he was the youngest, but I'm not sure. You
Okay.
got any information on that?
I don't know who was the youngest.
Because when he left to America, they said not the Nathan Nussen,
Yep.
named after him, not the Gate Schmaden. He will convert. He's going to America. It's a trade from the land. It's a land that's not. You've probably heard that anyhow. But there was Abish Gruber.
Yep.
I think he was blind. One of them was blind. Then Lotta Gruber. This is Nussen, Nathan Gruber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Nathan Gruber. Yeah, was his.
I think I saw Nathan Gruber. He had a beard. Those days, men didn't have a beard. Or very religious people.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't wear beards, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there was a sister, her older sister, not older than her. She was the oldest of her sisters, anyway. I don't know about the brothers. Esther Katz.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a lovely woman, beautiful blue eyes, and she used to talk to me as if I was an adult and I was a little kid. but she was a wonderful, pretty woman. Then there was Sora Tuck.
Yep.
Sora Tuck married a few times. And those days she dyed her hair. She was a fancy lady. She couldn't read or write. She signed an X, but she'd make the biggest deals. She made a deal with Woolworths. You know who Woolworths was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Woolworths was like a Rockefeller.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest building in New York at those days, before the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building, was the Woolworths Building. Some building to see if you get a chance to go to New York. It's a very ornate building. Esther and Sora, she had a son, I forget his first name. But anyhow, he has a son who was in the paint business. By the way, I never knew where your father got his name Avram.
My grandfather? I don't know.
Because maybe I don't think my grandfather's brothers were Avram. It might have been from the other side somewhere. I don't know. It's a biblical name, of course. I never asked him.
Where did Uncle Charlie get his name from?
Gedalia.
From...
Charlie, I don't know where he got the name Charlie, English.
Yep.
But his name is Gedalia. That was my grandmother's father.
Okay.
It's in the Zemel family, there was a lot of Gedalias.
Okay.
There's a couple of Shoals, too.
Mm-hmm.
Silver's name is Shoal.
Okay.
Did you know the Silver's name is Shoal?
No.
I had an uncle, Shoal, Eddie. His name is Shoal. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, that was them. I did meet some man, there was a Greenberg.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they related, but we once were invited to a wedding, an extremely religious wedding, especially those days. His daughter was the first one to be named after my grandmother. They had that much respect for my grandmother.
So, Eleanor Greenberg?
Greenberg, somebody named Greenberg. I don't know how they got, but anyhow,
yeah, so
they were related to Zemels. Anyhow, they invited all the Zemels from Newark over, and I went to that wedding. And they danced with the handkerchiefs those days, you know. Now you see it a lot, but it was very rare. She married a Rebbe. You know what a Rebbe is?
Yeah.
Hasidic Rebbe's son. A handsome fellow. She was a pretty girl, but her name was Margaret after my grandmother. She was the first one to be named after my grandmother. Margie, your Aunt Margie, was the second one. But I met somebody, and they said they're related to the Zemels. I don't know exactly, but anyhow, they had a daughter, a sister to this girl, I think, or a cousin, and I lived in Elizabeth, and she married Dr. Bergman. She's somehow a cousin somewhere.
what's her name?
Bergman.
Let me see if I have him on.
By the way, Beryl, we met a daughter or something of hers. I met him at a bar mitzvah in downtown Miami, it was a 14th Street shul. I met them. They lived. I don't know if they still live in Miami Beach. There's a Zemel from Beryl Zemel.
Hold on. Fogel.
I think Margie met.
Sarita.
Huh?
Sarita.
I don't know the names.
So, Bergman, Morris Bergman? You said Bergman?
Dr. Bergen. I don't know his first name.
Okay. Because his wife, Sylvia Zemel, was married to Morris Bergman.
I don't know if her name was Zemel.
No,
I don't think her name was Zemel.
Because
her mother was from Zemels.
Because Sylvia Zemel's... No, because Bergman's wife was Sylvia Zemel, and her father was Morris Naftali.
I don't know that. But anyhow, this one passed on. And first thing, I didn't know where it came from. It said relatives, and the husband said he spoke to Joe Zemel years ago, and he told him how to relate it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But she said there was a very famous rabbi in Israel. His name was Zemel, Rabbi Zemel.
Okay.
He was the chief chaplain of the Israel army.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a very important book about how soldiers should conduct themselves religiously, which was highly regarded.
Mm-hmm.
But he became the head of a yeshiva. He changed his name to Avidan, I think. Anyhow, his first name, it's Zemel. And she told me, this cousin, I said, they're related? She said she was in Israel. She said, sure. He took us all over Israel. He's Zemel. But, you know, they, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeshivas, they run affairs to gather up some money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
he was speaking in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. So I went over to him, and I said, how are you? He said, what's your name? I said, Nathan Zemel, Lusson Zemel. He says, oh, Mishpacha, I have some, ich hab was again, I have a place to go in America. He says, wann kommt ihr from when, I know you don't understand Yiddish. Where did they come from? I said, my father told me one night, you know, I was inquisitive, more than, because they wanted to forget Europe. They didn't like Europe, they were glad to get out of there.
Yep.
They were not treated, the Jews were not treated so great. So I asked my father, and I says, where are you from? Because it's a question whether my father was born here or there.
Yep.
And I still don't know, but they say he really was born there. I don't know. Maybe he was 6 months old when he came. Or maybe he was born on a boat. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
Anyhow, so I asked him where he was born. You know what he told me?
What?
Warsaw. Warsaw. He said, look, I don't know. But you know, apparently, according to your records, Lublin, they came from Lublin, which
Correct.
happened to be a metropolis.
Yep.
One of the biggest yeshivas in Europe.
Yeah, they actually came from a town that was part of, so Lublin is like a county.
Lublin, maybe he said Lublina Gubernia.
Yeah. So
Lublina Gubernia, they call it Gubernia.
It's like a county.
A state.
Yeah, and so within there, there was a city called Kyrillis, and that's where they came
I'll tell
from.
you, I asked, this is how inquisitive I was. My Aunt Bella, although Shalom, she's the oldest sister.
Yep.
Harry was older, but he was from different mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked, I only saw him once.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you, but how it came, I saw him once, a little man. So, what am I going to say? Oh, she was the oldest. I says, yes. So she was rather offish, sort of. She was the older sister, and I was a little youngster.
Yep.
She says, Kretschner, and I didn't get it. Maybe she said Kretchev near Krylov. I understand these people that I met in Elizabeth,
Yep.
they said they were from Krylov. It was a society or something. They used to have,
Yeah.
they used to get together.
Leifman, whatever. The burial societies that they had, where people came from the city, and then at the cemeteries, they also had the same societies for the cemeteries.
Where?
In Newark. In Newark, they had this.
You know, my wife don't like to travel, you know. But they had trips to Europe. I wanted to go to Poland. I wanted to go to where my grandfather came from. There are ways in genealogy that you can get information from Europe, from the graves and so forth.
I haven't been successful. I don't know if the graves might exist. They might not exist. I don't know. I'm still trying to get that. I still don't have that.
So I really wanted to go to Poland and really investigate
Yep.
it. But I would want to go to other cities. I would like to go to Prague, where the morale of Prague, I don't know if it rings a bell.
No.
He was the one that made the... my memory is... He made... it's like a robot. A robot. There's a name for it. I don't. He was very famous. He wrote another for him. He said that he made a robot that would protect the Jews. Yeah.
Wow.
What is it? What's the name? I can't think of it anyhow.
Okay.
But anyhow, Prague. There's a famous clock. It's one of the oldest cities, Jewish cities in Europe. It's very famous. Famous rabbis came from there. I would like to go there. I'd like to go to Budapest, Vienna. These are synagogues.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, ornate synagogues. There's a lot of Poland, tremendous population, Jewish population there. And see, the only time I saw Harry is he came to Newark. And apparently he had a son who was very wealthy. He was in the surplus from the army. He sold that stuff, he became wealthy. But there was a question of intermarriage and he wanted to stop it. So they thought that we could help him. I don't know how they thought we could help him, but anyhow, I saw him once. He's a very... By the way, I had something if they didn't steal it. He invented something for, what do you call it? For the
Hemorrhoids.
How do you know?
I have a copy.
Oh, you have a copy of the thing?
of the article, or I have it.
Yeah. I don't know if he got it replaced with it, but he was religious. He lived like I visited him, his son in Montreal.
Hyman.
I don't know which one it was, but.
You had Hyman, Joe.
Matter of fact, they treated me to a nice kosher restaurant.
Abe, you had a son, Abe. So I had some pictures I was hoping you could help me with. Who some of these people are. I want to write on the back of them if you recognize them.
Oh, boy. This is Sarah Chernin.
Write that back. Sarah Chernin. Okay.
I don't know if this is my sister, but this looks like Pearlie.
Write that down. So Pearl Zemel? Pearl Zemel?
Let me see closely. I think that's Pearlie.
Okay.
And this might be... I'm not sure. That would be Frida, no. No. I don't know what occasion this was. This man doesn't strike a bell. And I'm not sure that's Pearlie.
Okay.
But there is some resemblance. But her hair is puffed up. I don't remember it like that. But anyway. This looks something like my sister Frida, but I don't think it is.
Okay.
This is the only one I really recognize.
Okay.
Sarah Chernin. This one, I don't know. This is a different family.
Could be. I don't know what event this was. Here's another one.
You know, could this be Sylvia? You know, she was very slim.
Yep, that has to be Sylvia.
And this is one of the Bounds. I don't know, one of the Bounds. This is at my Aunt Frida.
Frida.
And this is Jenny. I might recognize Jenny on that one. This one could be Jenny. Does this look like this?
I can't. No, I can't tell.
No?
You say, see from the same angle. No.
No, oh, 'cause this is Jenny, and this is Fanny. And this looks like Fanny's sister. This one, I think that's one of the Bounds. I'm not sure of them. Rather skinny. It looked like one of the Bounds. Well, I got quite a few of them anyway.
Yep. Now this over here.
Put a question mark on that one anyway.
Okay. Then this is my parents. But I'm not sure who the others are.
But that you recognize. That's when he had hair on his head.
Yeah.
Does anybody in your family have hair on their head?
Bruce has a little bit. Bruce has a.
You know, I will tell you something. My father was the only one who used to wear a hat all the time. And he wore a suit all the time. The other ones didn't wear a hat. All the other ones were bald. He had a beautiful head of hair, white hair.
Wow.
You guys sent a big picture. And that's your mother?
Yep.
Looks a little different. And oh, you know who this is? That's, I forget his first name. Pearl Silver.
You don't know his first name? Let me see if I can find it.
That must be his wife. He married a very nice girl and they divorced.
So Silver?
Silver, yeah.
Let's see.
That was Ruth Silver. Ruth Silver was Frida Baum's oldest daughter, and she had two children. One was this guy, and one was the daughter.
So
I can't think of her name either.
Ted Silver?
What?
Ted Silver?
Ted Silver was Ruth Silver's husband. He died young.
Okay, but that's not.
He was a lawyer.
And then, but so which one is Silver? This one?
This is Silver, and I believe that's his wife. He married a wife, and he went astray somehow. I don't know. I don't want to talk. And this looks like Dave Mandelbaum. I didn't know his wife. You know Dave is?
Yeah.
The billionaire.
Really?
What?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No. I didn't know.
He's in, again my memory, famous company. They own
Wow.
the biggest in New York office building. David. He's Herman Baum and Frida Baum's grandson.
Mm-hmm.
David. That must be his wife. And you know, this is Ruth Silver's daughter.
Marcy?
What?
Marcy?
Hilda? I forget her name. Ruth Silver's daughter.
Let's see. Ruth Silver's daughter is Marcy.
What?
Marcy?
No.
Let's see.
And that's her husband, a very nice fellow, Steinberg. Her marriage name was Steinberg.
Ruth Silver's daughter. Oh, Harriet.
Harriet Silver.
And then the other is Arthur?
Who?
Is this Arthur Silver?
That's her brother.
Harriet's brother's Arthur. Was Arthur.
Maybe Arthur. Maybe Arthur. I'm not sure.
Let's write that down. Arthur Silver. And this one over here, which one? It's Harriet.
Now, this is Harriet.
Okay.
And that's her husband. He's a dead young man. And this fella is Gina's son, it looks like. Gina. He became, I'm almost sure that's him. I didn't know his wife. But he had a sister, a very nice girl. She passed away young. But he became a judge, a federal court judge. I'll tell you his name.
Let me just write this out here.
Stern.
Harriet Silver and husband. And then, and so it's
Stern. I don't know his first name. The father's
and this
name
was Stern?
My God Almighty.
Stern.
You know, out of sight, out of mind.
Stern.
That might be his sister. I'm not sure.
Irving Stern?
What?
Irving Stern?
That was his father. That was Gina's husband.
Morris?
I don't know what his name is. No, this is second cousin. This is going down.
Yep. So let me just write that down. So this over here is this
Yeah,
one is
he
Stern.
became a federal court judge. Matter of fact, he used to teach the pre-law exam. You know. I think I gave you quite a bit of information.
Yeah. I have a few others here, maybe. I think some of these are the same people. I think the same people are on this one. Yeah, I think these are the same ones.
Yeah, duplicate.
Yeah.
Your father was thin then.
Yep.
So was your mother. Well, your mother still is thin. What was your mother's maiden name?
Kamzen.
Hamden?
Kamzen.
Camden.
Kamzen. Kamzan.
Kamsel?
Kamzen.
Kamzen.
Yeah.
I don't know that name. That name.
Do anybody in this picture?
Oh, yeah, sure. This is Phil Mandelbaum, and that's Ella. In the middle. That was David Mandelbaum's father.
So these two.
Yeah, nice. He was educated in Jewish. He was a Hebrew teacher, but then he became a multimillionaire. That was David's father, the lawyer. And this is Gilbert. He passed away. Gilbert Baum.
Baum.
And that's his wife.
Okay. Let me write that down. So this one over here. Okay.
This one I don't recognize. That's somebody out. And let me see on this side. Oh, yeah. That's Harry Beer.
This one over here?
Yeah, and that's his wife, Pauline.
Okay.
And this is a funny guy. This guy was a dentist. His name was Goldstein. He changed it to Gale.
Oh.
And he had two sons, dentists.
Okay. Do you know his first name?
That's Dr. Gale and Gertie. What was her name? Gertie. No, not Gertie. Bella. And Bella Gale. That was Meyer's oldest daughter.
So.
She was the oldest one of Meyer's children.
Gail. So Meyer's children?
Yeah, her name was, I just gave it to you.
Yep.
Bella. He was a funny guy, Dr. Gale. And this one I can't place.
So Dr. Gale, was that Alan Gale?
That's the son.
So that's not the one in the picture?
That's the father.
Oh, that would be...
Yeah, Ali, and the other one was Buddy. We used to
Okay.
and Billy and Buddy. We used to call them.
So Saul Gale was a doctor?
He was a dentist.
A dentist? So let me write that down. Saul Gale.
This one.
Saul Gale, and right, this is his wife?
That's Bella.
Okay.
Myra's oldest child.
Gale.
So what are you going to revise your what's again?
What?
Or are you going to write a book about it?
I probably should write a book. I'm learning more and more all the time. Anybody else on here? That might be it on there.
This one I should recognize, but I don't seem to place him. It's not Ward Val. I can't place that guy. It must have been maybe related to, I don't know. If anybody, it would be Ward and his wife. I don't know. Because we have a bunch of Bounds here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if it's Ward or not. It doesn't look like him, though. Of course, pictures sometimes lie. I don't know that one.
Do you know anybody on this one?
That's a pretty good score.
Yeah, it's a great score.
This woman I don't know, but I know this is my youngest sister's father-in-law. His name is Klein. Mr. and Mrs. Klein. This one next to you.
Do you know his...
Mildred's father-in-law.
Okay. Let me write that down. So these two over here?
Yeah. You know this woman begins with a G. Nathan's mother-in-law, and that's his father-in-law.
Which one?
That's Nathan's mother-in-law, I believe.
Oh.
Your Uncle Nathan's mother-in-law.
Hold on.
Gampel.
Ruth Gampel?
I think that's Ruth Gampel.
Okay.
It's one in the corner.
Okay. Let me write that down. So this over here is Ruth Gampel. And where's her husband?
The husband is a little guy here. This must be from the other family. This is Gampel.
Okay, so Ruth Gampel's husband. Let me hold that up.
Are you the one that travels around the world? You in New Zealand?
I was in New Zealand recently. I was in New Zealand in December.
You know, my cousin Chester was in the Seabees. But that's Eddie's son.
Yep.
We were very close cousins. He was a little older than me. Gibby and me and Chester, very close.
Are these the ones who live in on the West Coast in Vancouver?
Yeah. So he lost his father. He was called back from the war, Second World War. I says, Chester, I says, you were all over the world. Which is the nicest place in the world? You know what he told me?
What?
New Zealand.
It's a nice place. It's very nice.
Anyhow, that's what he told me.
Now
this is from another family. Just not.
So I have a question. So.
No, I could be wrong. I don't think that's his wife. His wife was that much, not that much, I'm not sure. But you ordinarily be with his wife.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know about this.
Okay.
That might be his wife. I don't know, but this seems to me that
That's Campbell, yeah.
it just seems to me to be more like her. I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's people I don't know them people.
Now, Nus Nathan, he had a daughter. He was married and had a daughter.
Who is this?
Nus Nathan, Chester's brother.
Yes.
What do you know anything about that?
Well, that was a miserable divorce. My cousin Louis handled it. And it was a dirty divorce, you know. But he didn't have too much to do with that daughter after that. I don't know, she looked to be a nice girl, but they were married a short while and she became pregnant and she had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And that family didn't amount to much, you know, as far as Gilbert had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
This shit, she got heavy. I don't follow that. Who can follow this? This is a big,
I follow
this is a big family.
I follow it.
Yeah, well, I don't know who's related to me or not.
Yeah.
You know, they may be related and you don't know. You know.
I know how that. I know how that works very well. Do you know anybody in this picture?
Oh, this is Eddie. No. Oh, you know who that is? That's Nathan. That's Nathan. That's David Mandelbaum's brother. That must be his wife. I don't know the wife.
Mandelbaum. David Mandelbaum's brother. So Nathan Mandelbaum.
Nathan.
And then his wife,
I don't know the wife.
Cherie. Okay, let me write that down. Which
And
one?
this is the client, my baby sister and her husband.
Okay, let me write that down. So this over
Klein,
here.
Klein.
So this over here is David Mandelbaum.
Nathan
and
Mandelbaum. That's Nathan Mandelbaum.
And which one's his wife?
I don't know. This looks like his wife, but I don't know the wife.
Okay.
I apparently, but this looks like my niece. And it may not be a wife.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
But this looks like my niece,
Who's that? So who's that?
Margot.
Margot.
I think that's Margot.
Margot Zemel.
Yeah, I think that's right. They probably were trying to pair him up with him. It looks like Margot. I'm not sure, but there's a resemblance. But this definitely is my brother-in-law, my sister, and my brother-in-law.
And what's her name?
This is Mildred Klein.
Okay, Mildred.
And Milton. How many pictures you got?
Not too many more, just these.
You got a lot of work to do.
I do a lot of work.
You don't have time. You're
Make time.
pretty good on computers.
I am.
I wish I were. I used to be pretty handy. I lost my touch, you know, but I wish I could take up computers apart and put them together. You got to study it.
You
know.
do, yeah.
But at this age, you know how old I am.
Yeah. 90 is 90? 90?
I'm not yet. Close.
89?
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
Let me see who we got here. Oh, this is my niece, Blanche's daughter, Marcia.
Which one?
Marcia, and that's her husband. Brilliant guy. That guy, you know, that guy invented something. He was from MIT. He had a fellowship in MIT.
So, what's the last name?
It's a real Jewish name.
Was that Marcia Herberg?
No. Her single name was Marcia, but she was...
Okay, well, when she got married, it was Levine.
Lee, what's his first name?
Jules.
That guy,
So let me write that down.
he's an artist, he's a musician, and
So it's this one?
and an engineer. He invented something for the solar. It was in the Fortune magazine.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So it's this one?
Smart.
So it's these two?
Yeah, that's Marcia and Jules.
Okay.
And that's my sister Blanche
Blanche. What's her last name?
Herberg. too much work. And it looks like his father.
So Levine's father? Or Levine's parents?
That must be his mother, I guess.
A few more. Some of these might be duplicates, I can't tell.
That's Stern, Irving Stern. And that's his wife, Gina.
Write that down.
You have the patience to do this. Do you sell computers or
The company I work for makes software for hospitals.
for who?
For hospitals.
Oh,
So most hospitals in the country have some of our software.
you know, that might be Stern's father. I don't know these people, these three.
Okay.
You know, some of them are from the in-laws.
I can't even tell what event this is. I have no idea what event this was.
Oh, this is Ruth. Ruth Silver.
Is her husband here?
Her husband died a long time ago. I was about 10 years old when he passed away. Brilliant, he was going to be a judge. He was a brilliant guy. And this is the baby sister, younger sister of the Bounds. Buckwald, Pearl Buckwald.
Pearl Buckwald? Is that her husband?
And that's her husband, yes.
Do you know what his name is?
You know, I'll tell you, they had a son. For some reason, he was the first one. He settled in Israel.
Yeah.
That's Buckwald.
So Pearl and David Buckwald.
That's,
That's these two. Okay. So that's this one, these two.
that's right. I don't know if anybody else could give you this information. Maybe a couple left. I was one of the younger ones, you know.
Yeah, but you know everybody. Know anybody here?
Yes, I sure do. This is Buddy Chernin. That must be his wife.
Let me write that down.
Bernard. He was a psychiatrist. You got his wife too?
And wife.
I know the wife. This guy with the beard, I didn't know anybody had a beard, but I don't know. Who would that be? I don't think. I don't know. But this is my brother Sam and his wife Helen.
Sam and Helen Zemel.
I'll make it worth your trip up here.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is Gibby and his wife Alice.
What's the last name?
Beer.
I think that was everybody on there.
This is Lucy.
Nissy?
Eddie's Lucy.
Wow. So Nissy, like Nissy and Edna, that Nissy?
That's not Joe's Lucy, that's Eddie's Lucy.
Oh, Eddie's Nissy?
He was the first Lucy.
Um,
And actually their name is Nathan.
Eddie's son.
What is Nathaniel? One is Nathan.
Okay. And then who's the little boy? Any idea?
That is Sam's son.
Hold on.
I think it's Alan.
Alan Zemel. Wrote that down. So this is
I can't place them. Who would that be? I don't know. Maybe it's their children. I don't know.
Now this over here, this must be a wedding or something or an anniversary because there's a cake there. But it looks like here's my grandfather, right? Is that my grandfather?
Oh, that's your grandfather, and that's you. But that going way back because she looks very young there.
I don't know what event this would be.
Oh, this is my mother.
Which one?
And that must be my father.
So Charles and Lena.
Yeah.
At the time.
My father's blocked out to the candelabras. We're coming to the end now.
And then
Let me give it to you.
who's between my grandfather and your father?
I can't place it. This is Estelle
Let me see.
and her husband.
Which ones? Oh, Estelle and
David, well, not David. Her son's name is David.
George.
George. Did you know them? Oh, you knew Estelle.
I knew Estelle, yeah.
This is my brother Horace and his wife Doris.
Over here.
I'm trying to place what this was.
It's a wedding cake, but it's probably an anniversary.
Yeah, probably their wedding because it's right in front of them. You see, it's right in front of them. I wasn't to that wedding, so I don't know.
It doesn't have
Horace and Doris.
It doesn't have a date on it. Do you know who this person is? Who's in
I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe it might be from his family, you know. Maybe his mother or something. I don't know. No, I don't know. His sister. I don't know her. I won't tell you because I don't know. If I don't know, I don't tell you.
And then this was like kids. So this I know is Marcia Leader. This is Nathan's daughter.
Oh yeah, that's the engineer. Georgia Tech.
I don't know.
Oh no, you don't know that?
No.
Oh, she must be about 65 now. She's very close related relative to yours. This is mine. These are the little kids. Who's gonna know them?
I'll ask Margie. I'll see seeing Margie on Wednesday, so she might know them.
You know who this looks like? Sylvan's sons. These two.
Okay.
And this one, I don't, that's her. Yeah, you know, it's Georgia Tech.
Do you know who this is? Oh, is that Bella? Is that Bella?
That's Bella. Aunt Bella.
Okay.
That's two L's, I think. B-E-L-L-A.
Okay.
Oh, and the Jewish is Bela.
I don't think
So
this
maybe
is
you
on
got
that.
it right.
Let's see.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I think that was about it. Most of these, I think, are. I think Margie would know who these are. Some of these.
Well, that's Abe, you know.
Yep, I see him. I wasn't sure about the others. My grandmother.
This looks, it could be Zelma.
Which one?
I'm not sure, no, I don't think. Could this be Harriet? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll ask Mark.
I'm not sure about this.
Okay, I'll ask her.
I know you got my picture of my grandfather and grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
The famous picture and on the farm.
That was that? Yeah. Yes, I do. Yep, I have that.
I have a big picture of it.
Really? Can I see it? Do you have it here or in Irvington? Sure. I think those are all the pictures I had. All the other ones are other pictures that different parts of the family. These are the only old ones. So I think that was everybody in the family. Let me see. Did you know the Grubers well? The Grubers?
Oh, I know they're supposed to be very sharp. And from what I understood, the Grubers and the Zemels, they would still have a feud or something. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, the Zemels and Zemels had feuds also.
By the way, there was one business my grandfather was in. It was the hatting business. You know they
was it Hatter?
Hatter.
I did not know that.
They made and Newark was a hatting center. Newark. Newark had custom jewelry, hats, and but anyhow, hatting. But he,
wow.
And they
so,
used
so it was Nathan who did that?
Nathan, yeah. And apparently he was a guy that would go into business. The Zemels were business people.
Yep.
You know, they could pick up and go into business. And so there was some jealousy somewhere, and they tried to kill him.
Wow.
And one of the workers, they wanted to put some of the chemicals or some of the, one of the workers, this is a story I heard, it's back in my mind, I was a little kid, I can't verify it.
Yep.
But one of the workers put him wise and it saved his life.
Wow.
But you know, years ago, even the unions, it was fighting, it was a union shop or
yep.
thing that it was survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even when they drove the cars, they were wild.
Wow.
There wasn't many cars on the road, you know. We had one car in the family that shared the whole.
Wow.
When they went to go to the shore, so they picked one day a week, and one would have the car that day. You're going down to Bradley or Coney Island.
Yep.
You mean my voice is all on that?
Yeah, it's all in here.
Play it back now. You know, we've been talking here for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Are you not done?
Well, I have a couple other questions. So this over here, from Margaret Gruber, this was her father was Lewis, Margaret Gruber, Nathan's wife. Her father was Lewis.
Margaret Gruber's father was Lewis.
Yep.
I'll tell you, there's a mistake in the sometimes they make on the stones, because I make the memory prayer, memorial prayer. I take care of all that.
Yep.
But on Grove Street, that's the old cemetery.
Yep, I've been there.
They are buried. It's Marguria Bas. Gedalia Arya, I think. Gedalia Arya.
Mm-hmm.
And on Esther's, which is on our other cemetery.
Yep.
It's Gedalia something. It's not correct according to the other one. They don't jive.
Okay.
But her father's name was Margaret's father was Gedalia. See, Arya is a lion,
Mm-hmm.
and a lion in Jewish is Leib.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they got from Leib, they got
Okay.
Lewis. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Because I was trying to find out, her mother was Bella. Margaret's
Bella,
mother.
that's where Bella's
Yeah.
named after that.
But I don't know what her mother's last...
And my grandfather's father's name was Svi Arya.
Svi Arya, yeah.
So there's an Arya in both of them.
Now, do you
But
know...
Esther's epithet is not that way.
Now, do you know Svi Arya's wife's name?
Who are you?
Svi Arya, his wife. So Nathan...
Bella. Like you just told me.
No, that's Margaret's. Margaret's
Oh, Margaret.
was Bella. But Svi Arya, I don't know his wife.
I'll tell you how I could remember. It probably was Frida, because Frida was the next in line. That's my guess.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From a logic
Yeah.
standpoint of view. It probably was, and there was a number of Fridas, My
Yep.
sister was Frida.
Yep. There's a lot of Fridas.
Bella's daughter, youngest daughter, was Frida Choismer.
Yep.
Her husband was a Rabbi Perlman.
It's Frida Baum. Yeah. Those
Frida Choismer. That was before she was married.
But yeah, I was trying to
My
find...
guess is it was Frida.
Okay.
I guess.
But over here, in the case of Margaret Gruber, I was trying to find out the last name of her mother before it became Gruber. So Bella's last name before it was Gruber.
Oh.
No idea.
You're asking too much.
So, I got these for you. So this over here is a family tree for Zemel.
I got a couple of them.
There's a new one.
We're going to read all this.
The Megillah.
On both sides. Did a lot of work.
And this over here is Gruber. Now some are the same, but some are different because
I gotta see if this will take this.
See over here. See Louis in here. Louis Gruber. His Hebrew name was Lev Gedalia Aryeh. So they have for Louis Gruber, Lev Gedalia Aryeh. And then his wife was Bella.
It wouldn't be Leib. Leib is the English translation of Arya.
Okay.
So probably that's. I know this can't be accurate.
Okay.
To a certain extent, it is, but
It's what people told me, so that's what I put down. And then his wife Bella was Bela Chana.
Chana. That's where the Chana. I think my sister was named from the other family. I don't know if this will take this. So it's.
It might not.
Oh.
Might. 20 pages or so.
Oh, this one is not as big. What do you give me this?
Yeah, you can have this. I'll take this back, but you can have these. This is the census, and then this over here is the corporation.
So how is business?
Keep me employed.
Huh?
It's keeping me employed.
You make a living.
Yeah, make a living.
How many children you got?
7.
7. You went to Hebrew school, didn't you?
I went to Hillel down on North Miami Beach.
How far did you get?
8th grade, 9th grade. And then after that, I went to Hebrew Academy for a year, and then to public school. No, after that, I went to public school for 11th grade. And then after that, I went to Israel.
What?
I didn't finish school here. I took the test, a graduation test, and then I went to Israel for a year.
We went to Israel. What were you doing in Israel?
Lived on a moshav for 6 months, and then I worked in a youth hostel for 6 months.
Utah.
No, moshav for 6 months, and then a youth hostel for 6 months. Youth hostel. It's like a hotel. It's a youth hotel for 6 months.
Oh, youth hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, this one I want to take. Is this one thicker?
Maybe a page.
This is the Gruber, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it should be that thick. I didn't know that. I didn't know that much about the Grubers.
Now you have a lot more. There's a lot of them.
Were there any great rabbis? Did you find anybody like?
I don't know.
Sometimes you never know. Well, my brother Horace was the first rabbi of America, the group.
Really?
And I was the second one. No, this one won't take.
You want me to try?
Nah,
Okay.
I don't think it'll take.
Okay.
Let me see the other one. Is it thicker than this?
It's 1 page more.
What?
This is 30. This is 1 page more. One page bigger.
Page more, maybe I get rid of a page. Oh, yeah, blank page.
No, it has still some people up here. I think.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a clip on it.
Yeah.
Where I don't know where it is, though. Here we go. And this is a life work.
Takes a long time.
You know, I had a friend, and he came from a very prominent family, way back, from the Talmud, you know, all the ways back.
Yep.
And his hobby was a doctor, surgeon. And his hobby was genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a book this thick on genealogy. His name was Dr. Damn it.
So you use a computer? Do you use the internet?
Oh, sure. But my grandchildren are much better than me.
That happens to all of us.
Right.
The younger kids seem to be sharper than the older, you know, than people older than us. So the younger kids seem to get it really well. The internet.
You know, a funny thing. I was around the office, and it says I was close to Sylvan. You know? So his son, what's the youngest?
Michael.
Michael. So he was studying modern mathematics. So Sylvan says to me, help him out. And you know, I was able to,
Wow.
I was pretty good when I was younger. You know, you know your faculties are not as good as, thank God.
You do quite well.
I don't complain.
So, I mean, I could stay with you for hours, but I know that you have things, and
I don't know that much. As I say, I'm one of the younger ones.
But, you're still a wealth of knowledge. You know a lot.
Well, we spent 2 hours here.
Now, do you have pictures of anybody from the family? Pictures?
Certainly not here.
But over in New Jersey?
My youngest sister has more than I have.
Really?
My baby sister.
Because I was trying to get some that have of Nathan and Margaret. Pictures. Do you know anybody?
I have one picture. The men are sitting together on the chairs on the farm.
The picture you have is probably better than the version I have. The one I have is not too clear.
Mine is big. They enlarged it.
Maybe I can get if I'm ever in New Jersey, I'll let you know, and I'll come by and make a copy of it, take a picture of it, because I'd love to see that. I have on the internet. I have an interview that I put there of Pearl Zemel Beer interviewing Sarah Chernin.
Yeah, but it's not accurate.
It's not.
You know, everybody interprets It's according to their view.
Yeah.
I would disagree with certain things she said.
Like what?
I can't think of them in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would disagree with them.
But yeah,
Although she was close to my grandmother,
mhm.
because she was single, you know, she
Yep.
had lost her husband.
Mhm.
And Joe was single, they were together with my
Hold-
grandmother.
Hold on one second. Hello? But
You turn it off?
I turned it back on. I turned it off for the phone call.
I'll play it back.
Oh. Play it back later. It's long. But maybe if I'm in New Jersey, I'll let you know, and because I'd love to have a copy of
It's
the
just a
picture.
picture, that's all. That's all.
Yeah, but I don't. The one I have is not too clear. So if you have a clear one, I'd love to just take a picture of the picture.
I had a smaller one, but this is an enlarged.
Mm-hmm.
If it's still there.
Sure, it's there.
Well, now I got an alarm system. I didn't have an alarm. Nutty. I have an alarm here, but I didn't have an alarm there. I don't have much stuff here. There I had all my
Yep.
jewelry and
Mm-hmm.
my passport. They took everything.
Wow.
They cleaned the whole house out. Candelabras and it was things that my mother gave me that when I graduated college, you know.
Yep.
and
Wow. That's terrible.
it's a rough thing, but you got to go on, you know.
Yep.
You forget and you go.
Wow.
But they didn't touch my books.
It's good.
That they didn't appreciate. And that's worth more than everything.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a bit of a scholar, you know. I have a whole house full of books.
Mm.
I loved it thoroughly.
Yep.
That's your hobby is this. My hobby is a Torah.
Mhm.
It's not my hobby. It's more than a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Can I get a picture of you and your wife? I want to take a picture.
Yeah, I want to take a